What is up, everybody? Keith, aka Gator Guy 231, and it's week 2 of the NFL. Happy to be joined by Tim, aka TK Nation, and Zach, aka Keith. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. Fun little slate ahead. Looking forward to some week 2.
I mean, Tim, did you even know the NFL is going on this week, or I thought you were all consumed U.S. Open?
Yes. I've been mixing in and out of my lineup making with some NFL research, but I've definitely got a lot to look forward to this week with the U.S. Open and now NFL week 2.
I was going to say, this is Christmas for you, man.
It's the best time of the year.
And then Tyler Hero is making an appearance after his – did he get a triple-double last night?
Yeah, no, 1 assist away.
Come on, Tyler, you can do better.
But off the bench, I'd take that.
Did all of us clean sweep week 1 cash GPP?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Beautiful week.
Week one was a beautiful week. I feel like too, we had some great picks in here. Zach had the Logan Thomas pick at like 1%. I mean, I was like super contrarian with I can't say it. Devontae Adams. I mean, come on. And
yeah, that was definitely your good call of the week for sure.
Thank you. And then Tim, picked a guy that might be dead, Philip Rivers. Are we sure that
Well, I also told everyone to play Lamar, and Lamar went freaking nuts.
Fair enough. Yeah, versus your Browns. It went well. Yeah. Sorry. Anyhow, we're going to stop the banter and jump into picks, guys. We really are excited. Just keep in mind, we're going to be mixing in here some chalkier plays, especially from me. That's kind of what you expect from me. But also, we're trying to give you guys some picks that are a little bit under the radar here. I think we have a good mixture. We're just going to jump right in. So, Tim, I'm going to start off with you at the quarterback position.
Yeah, so this was going to be my favorite quarterback play of the week, Kyler Murray. The Arizona Cardinals ran second most plays of the week last week with 78, only behind the Bills. I'll get to that player next shortly. But Kyler Murray had 13 rushing attempts. He had 191 yards passing, 1 TD. He's really lit it up last week. Washington gave up 270 and 2 touchdowns to Wentz. So I really like Kyler Murray in a high-tempo game. It looks like Cliff Kingsbury's going to push the tempo, and Murray is going to be, slinging a rock. And I think his rushing upside is just perfect for 6,100. I think that's too cheap. Yeah. Definitely going to be in mind for cash.
Yeah, nothing else to say. Although I do want to just apologize. You did have DK Metcalf. I was blanking on one of your last weeks. We'll give you the credit for DK.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to talk about one of their quarterback. Talk to us about why Josh Allen's making a lot of your plays.
Yeah, so my deep research on Josh Allen was absolutely nuts. The Bills ran 81 plays under Daboll last week. He scored 33 points last week, 48 in 2 games versus the Dolphins last year. He had 46 passing attempts for 300. No, that was last week. Last week he had 46 attempts, 312 yards, 2 TDs. He had 57 yards rushing and a TD. But against the Dolphins last year, he had 202 yards passing and 2 TDs in 1 game. And then the next game, he had 256, 3 TDs, 56 yards rushing, and 1 touchdown. So it only got better for Josh Allen against Brian Flores' Dolphins last year. The Dolphins basically gave Josh Allen and the Bills a blueprint on how to get beat because Cam Newton went off for 75 yards and 2 TDs. And then and even Cam Newton, like one of the worst passes in the league, went 15 for 19 with 155 yards. I mean, Josh Allen's an exceptionally better passing quarterback than Cam Newton. I expect big numbers from Josh Allen. I'm going to be playing him in GPPs, and I'm going to be throwing in Stephon Diggs too to pair with him for some correlation, some stat correlation. But yeah, those 2 guys, Murray and Hopkins, Allen and Stephon Diggs, they're going to be 2 of my quarterback wide receiver duos that I'm going to be targeting pretty much in almost every single format.
I love that. Now,
I
y'all remember? Oh, go ahead, Zach.
I was mind blown when I saw the Josh Allen pass attempts last week. I never even looked at 46. It because they were like they're in a game script where you expect a ton of runs. And I checked it and I saw the 46 attempts, and it was crazy.
So literally, it's funny you say that, Zach. Like the comment I was going to make is, remember when everybody was worried about taking Josh Allen in drafts because the Bills were going to be a run team?
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah, well, Zach Moss is going to be that I know that's your boy.
Yeah,
He's going to be
but even so, like they're running and pay. Like you would have expected Bills versus Jets to be a slog.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you see that. So no, I love it. All right, Zach. Ty God destroyed me. Like I almost had a great lineup. I had to suck up that I played Ty God in cash last week on my cash lineup review. Why the hell am I going back to him this week?
All right. So last week it was more of like a I loved him last week as well, but looking back, it was like more like when you look at the game, it was like not even a slow paced game because one of the reasons I like him so much is that the Chargers offense was actually running a really high pace. They won a lot of hurry up offense. He actually threw the ball pretty well, like 30 attempts, got over 200 yards. But last week was more of a smash mouth football game, whereas this week they're going to go into Kansas City and they're not going to have the ability to run 35 times. They're going to be trailing a lot of the game. And while Kansas City does have a good defense, they give up points just because that's what teams with good offenses do. They give up points. That's kind of exactly what Deshaun Watson did last week. Deshaun Watson, like, you look at the first half, everyone's tilting because of how bad he was.
Yeah.
He still finished with over 20 fantasy points. He's obviously a way better version, but plays a similar game to Tyrod. Tyrod has a really good offense still. So for 5,300, he is way underpriced. He's going to go under end because he was popular last week. So just really like the upside of the price.
Only thing I'll say about that is somehow he was not popular. He was only 9% in the $25 cash game that I reviewed. So I thought he was a really good play. I was surprised. So honestly, I think that the
Redskins value defense did end up blowing his ownership because a lot of people were able to get up a quarterback there.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm with you. Like, I think you hit a great point there that there's going to be points, and I mean, we saw Deshaun Watson just destroy it in garbage time. No reason we can't see the same thing from Tyrod. And then the plus notes too, like, been reading multiple things that Haber isn't even close. Like can barely call a play right now.
I don't see him coming on the field anytime this year.
Right. So you don't exactly have to worry about it. Tyrod's kind of like game script proof, so to speak. All right. So I'm taking more of the contrarian pick here since TK took my chalk at 6,100. But 200, Matthew Stafford, I think actually really interesting. My biggest Millie sweat ever was Matt Stafford at Lambeau. I think I finished like 40th or something. But anyhow, Matt Stafford at Lambeau, good memories for the Gator. But honestly, like, Green Bay looked awesome last week versus the Vikings. I think there's a really good chance they're going to look awesome versus the Lions, which is going to put Matt Stafford in a very, very, very passing-dependent script. He threw 42 times last week, guys. Only got 17.2 DK, only one touchdown. I think if we see Stafford throwing the ball 42 times, more often than not, it's going to be more than one touchdown. So I really like my chances to get over 20. I don't think he'll be owned. Like, if you want to just talk about like the exact pivot, a price pivot off of the chalk of Kyler Murray, I think Matthew Stafford could be really interesting. Any takers?
Yeah, definitely. I like that game stack, actually. I'm really looking into a Detroit Green Bay game stack with, variations of Matt Stafford, Galladay, and then on the other side have someone like Aaron Jones and Adams, and then flip it, have like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and then maybe have like one of the Detroit running backs, something like that.
TK, you had me until that. You're gonna take
DeAndre Swift.
Did they say Dusty Adrian Peterson?
I'm not taking the bait on Adrian Peterson, but DeAndre Swift was in a lot of passing situations, and I don't mind that price tag on him. So that would be in DK only, obviously, because of the PPR rules.
I will say
I'm just talking game stacks. That's all.
No, I like that. And then just a little note on what you said. I saw Galladay still isn't practicing, so back to like my little GPP set was with Marvin Jones Jr. I think got like 3 touchdowns.
Or even Quintez Cephas. I haven't seen his price, but he had 10 targets last week.
Did he only catch like 3 or 4? So it was tough. But I think that Chicago's secondary is better than Green Bay's personally. So let's see. Like I just think you could do worse. Glad I didn't catch complete crap on this. All right, let's move on. Derrick Henry, is that you TK?
Yeah, D. Henry is obviously going to be a very chalky pick this week, but definitely worth mentioning. Last week he went for 116 with 31 attempts, 3 catches, 15 yards. The Tennessee Titans have literally one running back on the roster. Their other active running back last week was a fullback. I mean, Derrick Henry is going to get the workload, and he's only 7,900. I think he's the fourth highest salary for running back this week. I think I'm probably going to go, 80% Derrick Henry in lineups. I mean, he got vultured from the goal line twice last week. I don't think that happens every time. They run and play action on first down because everybody's expecting Derrick Henry to get the ball. So, I don't see that happening quite often. And I think he's going to get a big game this week versus Jacksonville. Last year, he went 44 yards and a touchdown in the first game, but followed it up later in the year when the Titans did start Ryan Tannehill. He had 159 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. And that's kind of what I expect this week. A 30-point outing from Derrick Henry. I don't think you can miss it, and definitely going to be a cash lock.
Love it. All right, Mr. Zach. Kenyon Drake, we're doing
another guy from last week.
Yes.
Okay, so when you look at Kenyon Drake, there's going to be a lot of people that are afraid of him because Chase Edmonds, 1, is good, and 2, did play a lot of snaps. But as TK mentioned with Kyler Murray, they ran an incredible amount of snaps, and they have the highest rush rate of almost anyone in the league. I think that Tennessee's higher. But even with Edmonds playing, he still got his 16 carries. He had 6 targets. So he played actually the 5th most snaps out of running backs. Like there's McCaffrey, Barkley, Zeke, David Johnson, Josh Jacobs. They're the only ones that played a higher percent of snaps than Kenyon Drake. So I'm still not worried about Chase Edmonds. He played the majority of the goal line. I know that Edmonds did score a touchdown, but he did too, and he was the one playing the fourth quarter when it was a close game. And the Redskins defense, I do think it's gotten better. Don't look at last week with the Eagles. They're missing their entire offensive line. They didn't have their stud running back. So there's no reason to be afraid of that defense. They're still going to be one of the worst. So in this high-auction game, I really like Kenyon Drake here.
I like it. So I'm going to go Zeke. And here's how the only analysis I should have to say. He's playing Atlanta.
Yep. Done.
So some things just don't change, guys.
Chris Carson last week.
dude. I mean, come on. And then DK decides to only price him at 8,200.
Right.
Cool. I'll take Zeke. That's it.
I don't think I'm going to have one lineup with Christian McCaffrey in it this week. Not when I got Zeke and Henry at the price tags that we got them at this week.
You just don't need it. I mean, honestly, Atlanta could end up being a historically bad defense, and then they're going to run it back the other side, and they're just going to keep passing the ball, extending the games. I think all year long, we just look at the first thing we do is figure out who's Atlanta playing and see how viable those guys are, and then. I'm going to be talking another one in a minute. DK prices Dallas down. Okay.
They did. Yeah.
Cool. Quick question for you guys. Who's higher owned? Who's higher owned in the $25 single entry cash game? Zeke or Derrick Henry?
I think it's Zeke.
I think it's Zeke, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Let's go. Zach, I screwed up the order, so you get to jump back on with wide receiver. Paris Campbell. Love this pick.
So this is a guy that I've been really high on ever since he's a rookie. He's extremely athletic. Last year, a lot of injuries, did not get to see the field that much. Not the case last week. And plus he gets an upgrade with Phillip Rivers. He played 95% of the snaps in the slot. He led the team in snaps at wide out. He pretty much just took the Keenan Allen role from Phillip Rivers. Really a 23% target share, ran 40 routes. Not much. You can't do much better than that. And he gets a fantastic matchup. So in a game where we saw Devontae Adams, Adam Lazard, and Martez Valdez-Scantling honestly could have had 200 yards himself. Between those three, they were open every time. The Vikings defense was as bad as expected. So I expect him to be the number 1 target all year. I do like T.Y. there too, but it's pretty much those two are the only ones that are going to see any targets really, and then the running backs. It's what Phillip Rivers always has done. So I really like his upside, and he's priced way too cheap.
Yep, I agree. All right, TK, you get the chalk guy now.
All right, so continuing on with my chalky picks this week, I'm going to talk about Davante Adams. I can't help it; they're so optimal. It's just impossible not to talk about. But I do love the Parris Campbell call. That's something I'm really high on this year for season long too. I have him in my season long league, and I was getting laughed at, and I'm like, you guys have no idea. But yeah, the Keenan Allen comparison was really good, eye opening for me. But anyway, Davante Adams, 17 targets, 14 catches, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. All right, now moving on. No, he's going to be the chalk. Davante Adams is obviously one of the best plays on the slate at wide receiver. Green Bay going up against Detroit, no Slay. Detroit obviously just gave up 5 catches for 74 yards versus Robinson from Chicago. So I love the Davante Adams call. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get the long leash this year to be actually able to throw the ball, do what he does best, and I like Davante Adams. Continuing on with my my value wide receiver tangent I had planned for this week, but I did have Campbell down. Valdez-Scantling's under 5K. CeeDee Lamb's under 5K. Larry Fitz is under 5K. Christian Kirk's under 5K. And then my favorite pick, which was Scotty Miller, 5 catches last week on 6 targets, 74 yards, and then he had a rush for 6 yards. So Scotty Miller is definitely going to get some play this week with Chris Godwin hitting the concussion protocol just today. So definitely going to get ahead of everyone on that one. And Scotty doesn't know. I love this movie too. Eurotrip's one of my favorite movies. That's awesome.
Sorry, couldn't help myself.
Scotty
I practiced that and it went a little bit better.
This is the second time I've almost got Keith singing on a video. So
exactly. All right. No,
but yeah, I love Scotty Miller. I'm going to be first to jump on the bandwagon. So
yeah, honestly, if we didn't see Parris Campbell on the slate, I think Scotty Miller honestly becomes like the best value. But Parris Campbell's there, so
a lot of people are going to have Deontay Johnson as well.
Yeah, I forgot to mention him too.
I don't know. I mean, the other guys to me are just so far ahead.
Yeah, I'll take Campbell and Scotty Miller, and then probably Deontay, and then probably someone like
I don't know. There's a lot of good receivers, so that's
a lot of good value receivers. That's why I'm paying up a running back. And
I was going to say maybe you don't have to follow some of this potentially bad running back value chop. All right, I'm just going to quickly talk about Amari Cooper. I'm actually not. DK made him too cheap again. I don't know why the price decreased versus Atlanta. Like, if anybody can explain that to me, that'd be cool.
I don't know.
But comes off 14 targets, 10 catches, plays one of the worst defenses in the league, and DK lowers his price by $400. Cool. Thanks, DK. I'll just go ahead and plug in.
I'm going to have Amari in a lot of GPP lineups. Him and Michael Gallup, too.
I mean, before we get to tight end, which I don't think is, like, all that exciting in comparison, like, DraftKings, I feel like specifically, and, we talk a lot more on this program about DraftKings, but I feel like they gave us, like, way too many, like, easy plays.
Making my holder was like way too easy. It's just click, done.
So I want to just as a strategy thing for the listeners. I'll defer to you guys. I think they're obviously, especially in higher stakes, there's reasons to pivot. But do you, especially in like a lower stake, like so for the guy that is playing, the $5 single entry cash game, and maybe he's running back the $5 single entry GPP, like you don't have to like be crazy. I don't think.
No.
Make a good profit.
No, I expect this a high scoring week this week. I don't see what, like you need to get optimal at tight end and defense. And then honestly, it's just plugging in the rest with all this low pricing.
I mean, Zach, what do you think of that? And then I'll give my 2 cents.
I've always been that way. Like people say you have to go find this like low end play. Like when Zeke scores 30, Derrick Henry scores 30. Like if you want to get different, you can go with a guy like Scotty Miller who's gonna go lower end and like get your difference there and like get your upside there.
I mean, just becomes ultimately we're here to make profit. So if you want to win the millie, like don't go in the millie maker with all this chalk and like expect to win the million. Yeah. Now, if you want to min cash, I guess but if you're gonna play the millie, I think you obviously get get crazy. But if you're playing cash games, if you're training lower entry for the profit, which I think if you're not phased out under $5 and you're not maxing out the quarter and you're not maxing out the $1 with your cash lineup, you're giving up equity. I just don't see a reason not to do it. Anyhow, that's just my rant. I just think
and if you're trying to win the $1 million, you're putting in 100, at least 50 lineups into that thing, and then you got a game stack, and like you're doing a lot more different variations of your lineup than.
We've seen people win it with a single bullet. It happens, but it's just becoming like, don't go in the milli maker trying to min cash. It's not the way to do it.
If you want to like max or make a good profit, like the milli maker is not the place to do it.
No.
Like I said, max enter the quarters, the $1.
Yeah.
The dimes. Like if you're a lower entry player, like, I normally have close to like 500. My personal MSA, I don't mind sharing. And first thing I do every single week is max enter those low entry ones. Love it. Yeah.
If you want to play like a fun game, play even say that $25 single entry, Zeke's ownership, and then go look at the $1 Zeke's ownership. You'll see how much edge there is like playing those lower stuff.
Yep, exactly. Just don't get too cute when we're trying to make money. All right. Speaking of getting cute, look at that cute hat that Eric Ebron has on.
Look at the bucket hat going for Ebron. Yeah, I love Eric Ebron this week. Denver gave up 2 goal line touchdowns to Tennessee's tight ends, Michael Pruitt and I think Juno Smith. I like Ebron for that reason. I think when you get down to this goal line, Pittsburgh's going to struggle. They don't have, Connor's a little banged up, and we saw last week that they were having trouble getting a push when it came down to the goal line. I think Ebron's going to benefit from the multiple times we're going to see the Steelers in the red zone this week, facing off against the they're playing Denver. That's right. Yeah, Denver losing Von Miller. I don't think Chris Harris is back, so I just question the defense, and Denver coming all the way to Pittsburgh, first home game. I think Ben looking sharp at times, I think gives Ebron the ability to get see the end zone this week, and that's kind of what we're going for at the low 4K punt tight end. You just want some touchdowns and maybe like 5 catches. That's what your expectation is.
I like it. All right, Zach, you were a week early on this, so we'll make sure that we give you your props on this, but we're going back to the well.
Yep. So like last week, it felt like more of a GPP play because you didn't know what you're going to get from him. You didn't know if he's going to play every snap and all that. Last week, you saw it come exactly how you wanted it to. He played 75% of the snaps, ran a route on all, like every pass play but 2. He led the team in air yards, which is pretty crazy. Played a lot out of the slot, which like when you're picking your tight ends, that's a good sign for a fantasy tight end is you get a lot of snaps around the slot, get a lot of mismatches there. That he's got his goal line touchdown, and then he gets a matchup with Arizona, who like the last 5 years were always the worst team ever against tight ends. They drafted Isaiah Simmons to try to stop that. Last week, on a scale of 1 to 100 for PFF, he graded a 24 or something. Gave up Raheem Mostert had a 75-yard touchdown reception, all because of him. So don't expect him to come in and save the day for them. And this shootout, just really, really love him.
I'm high on Isaiah Simmons, but I agree. Like a second game as a pro, might not. We have to lower the expectations, but I do think that guy's going to be a stud.
I think he will too, but he's an athlete. He's going to take him time.
Exactly. All right. I kind of feel like this might be potentially another just like super chalky play. So sorry, guys. I am the chalk guy of this group, but Chris Herndon, not very often we get to see 7 targets from a tight end and actually go, that might have been his floor. Like I personally didn't play him just because I thought the matchup versus the Bills was tough. This one versus the Niners, neutral to me. I mean, Niners are a good defense, but what do we know about a good pass rush? Especially when I have Sam Darnold back there seeing ghosts. He's going to get rid of the ball quick. So that should be a decent amount of targets for Chris Herndon and Jameson Crowder. 3,400 for tight end is where I love to pay for tight ends. So give me 7 targets. Hell, 6 catches, 37 yards. I'll take it. 3X for my tight end. Come chase me down. That's where I'm at. All right, guys. So we are not going to go over defenses this week. Instead, we're going to give you guys our I don't know what I would call it. I guess conviction play, or just the play that we think will not fail. So, Tim, I will let you lead off.
All right. So I'm going to start out, and I was thinking about doing DeAndre Hopkins, but I think that's pretty obvious. But I wanted to talk on running back that I feel is going to go low owned. He's not 6K, and he's facing a really tough AFC North defense. Can you guess the player?
Oh, you're going to say David Johnson.
Yeah, David Johnson. All right, so the Browns averaged 5.5 yards per carry against the Ravens last week. They got out of game script because the Browns suck and they were getting buried, and they just had to open up the passing game, and that's just what led to the bad lopsided numbers. But Houston, much better than the Browns. David Johnson, maybe not as good as Chubb in my opinion, but it looked really good, looked really healthy, looked like David Johnson back in the Arizona days. He had 109 yards and a touchdown versus the Chiefs on only 14 carries. So, he's going to, he can make do on limited carries. Like I had mentioned with the yards per carry, I think, Johnson's in for another big day. Duke Johnson also went down with a possible injury. He is looking like he's questionable to doubtful, and that's going to lead to more receiving work for David Johnson. So I'm really high on this pick. He's under 6K, and he's going to help me get to Amari in my GPPs. And, I can start getting different that way, where I can start bouncing David Johnson in and out with my Zeke and my Derrick Henry exposure.
Fair enough. I like it. Zach, who you got, buddy?
Just going off that real quick. When TK mentioned that earlier, I was kind of like, eh. Then I just saw he played 81% of snaps, and Duke Johnson's injured. So I really, really like that, actually. Yeah. My guy, TK already mentioned him. It's Derrick Henry. Watching that Monday night game, he was terrible. Still finished with 20 DK points. Played 80% of snaps. Like, he was playing passing downs because Darrington Evans, I think is his last name, is going to be the passing catch. But he's hurt, so you don't have to worry about that. And as TK mentioned, they were on the 1 yard line 2 times, and he didn't get a touchdown. That's not going to happen. 9 times out of 10, they're going to run the ball 3 times in a row until he scores. Yeah. So 31 carries, he's going to get you his 100-yard bonus, and I just don't think he can flop.
I mean, we saw the variable mask give Derrick Henry the ball, so I think we know what they're going to do this year. So I'm not getting cute. Our first week of doing this, Zeke.
Yeah, there you go.
There are some flow charts that are meant to be respected, and as long as I've played fantasy football, running backs versus Atlanta has hit at a 99% clip. Not stopping with Zeke. Go ahead, lock him in your lineups. I think if you see much less than 20, I think we'll be surprised. And that's going to do it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching the show. Make sure you hit subscribe. We're doing this every Wednesday night. There might be some more Scotty doesn't know in the future. Well, I don't think that we can bring up Scotty Miller without the song. So
no, you can't.
With that in mind, I'm Keith, for Tim, for Zach. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck this week. See you.
See ya.